Hey everyone, and welcome to Already Cancelled. I am Peter, and that is Tara, and we are going to talk about the Twilight Zone, the classic Twilight Zone, the original series. This is season 1, episode 17. It's called The Fever. So, full spoilers, as always. And I suppose the first thing we should point out, because the last episode of this we did was The Hitchhiker, and there was a lot of jokes being made about Tara not surviving her trip across the country. So, I'm happy to say, Tara's not dead.
Me too.
Right. Tara and the pets both survived. There was no evil hitchhikers. Well, none that you picked up anyway. So, how many hitchhikers did you see?
You know what? I only saw one couple.
One couple?
A man and a woman, and that was it.
Ah.
And I only saw them once.
That's an interesting. I bet they're like into like killing people as a pair. Like they're kink. I bet that's what it is. Yeah. They're like, oh, they're going to think we're safer because it's a couple, because it's not just a creepy man. But nah, she's just as sick. And they're going to sell you her organs on eBay.
I think maybe you watch too many horror movies.
Maybe a few too many. But you can find my opinions on horror movies on Screams After Midnight, the horror movie podcast that I do with Tim Vargulish Chow. We're quite a pair. And I love that Tara's camera started flickering between color balances. Like, it was fine. The entire conversation we had before we started recording was fine. And immediately it did this. She's going to go and shut the curtain because she knows it's the daylight that's
no more
it.
Natural light.
That's the problem, yeah. And it's just fine now. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So, here we go. Twilight Zone, this is The Fever. This episode is about basically a man becoming addicted to a slot machine. A one-armed bandit, as they're more commonly known as, and it kind of sets up at the start that his wife is happy they're there. They've won like a trip to Las Vegas for a few days. I was confused though because the guy who was kind of interviewing them at the start to set up all this exposition said they've got unlimited credit, and I would have like that. That to me sounds like you've got gambling money we can give you, so you can go gamble without spending your own.
Oh, I don't think I caught that.
He says that. He says you've got unlimited credit, and then they're like fighting over. And admittedly, if it's money to gamble with, it would be weird if it wasn't limited. Like I would get that if they won a trip, it was like, oh, and we'll give you like $100 to spend in the casino or whatever, right?
Right.
But unlimited, like
I don't think the episode makes sense if that's true. They have to be referring to something else.
They have to be.
Like maybe you have like unlimited credit to use at the buffet.
Yeah, or the snack bar or something. Yeah, sure, that makes more sense. But it was just, it's a weird thing to say when all they're really talking about is being in Vegas,
Yeah.
But yeah, so she's like raring to go, and they set up very quickly that the husband is like, no, this is a waste of money. You don't, you value your nickels and your dimes. You don't put them in these stupid slots machines. And the wife wants to just sneakily puts one out, and he gives her this lecture. He's kind of a dick about it. He's like, I'm putting my foot down, damn it. Like, I agree to come on this stupid trip, but I'm going to draw the line at money being spent. And she doesn't win, and that's kind of fine. And then he's literally grabbed by a drunk guy on the way past. He's going back up to the room, and he's like, hey, here's my last $1. You put it in there because I'm not being lucky. And he's just being kind of nice and drunk. And he's like, oh, fine. And he puts it in, and he cranks the handle, and he wins like 10 coins. He gets 10 coins back. I mean, yeah. I'm not familiar. They said it was $1. I've never seen currency that looks exactly like this. I'm assuming that currency's changed a little bit since 1960.
Yeah, well, I think you can still get silver dollars, but they're usually like collectibles.
Sure, yeah.
I know you can still buy $50. They're 50-cent coins that are big, but they're not common. Oh, and we do have a newer dollar coins with Sacagawea on it. They're gold now.
Oh.
But still, they're not very common. I think the Department of Treasury was trying to get that going because coins last a lot longer than paper.
Mm-hmm.
But it never really caught on.
Interestingly, the opposite's kind of true here, where the £1 note is basically a relic that you never see anymore, and it's the £1 coin that everyone uses for a £1. Now, 5s, 10s, and 20s, and so on, they're notes, but
sure.
That's just funny how it's kind of went a different way. But yeah, so I mean, it's kind of obvious from the start that he's going to be the one who gets addicted because he's the obvious character to do it with. because he's so dead set against it. So sure enough, he starts waking up in the cold sweats in the middle of the night. He imagines that the stack of coins on the table are talking to him, and he's like, you know what, this is devil money. I'm going to go down and put this back into the machine so we don't have to deal with it. I feel morally, I feel corrupt using this money. And then, of course, the wave goes down, and a lot of the episode is him just writing check after check to get more coins so he can keep trying to get the money back out of the machine because he keeps losing. And he's sweating, he's not eating, he's not sleeping. He's been there for 24 hours by the end of the episode. And then the episode has a quite dark ending, which we'll get to when we get to it. But at this point, I think it's a good time to say, Tara! West Coast Tara. Did you enjoy the fever?
No.
This move has made you cynical. You liked every episode up until now. Explain yourself.
No, it's not very good. I think it's boring. And I think when the coins are actually talking to him, it's so dumb. And then the ending is just so stupid. No, I don't like this one.
Yeah, it's not a very good episode. Arguably the weakest episode we've had so far. So. Yeah. I mean, I don't hate, like, I think the actor is kind of like,
he's giving it his best.
Yeah, he's relatively entertaining, I think. So he it's not a hard to watch episode too much because he's at least entertaining. Like when he's clearly being tempted to go down and spend, and put some money in the machines, he very much like is trying to like play it off as something else, and he's kind of entertaining, like denying that that's what he's doing. He's like, that's fairly amusing.
Sure. But there's just a lot of scenes of just the slot machine going and going and going again, and then cutting to him sweating, and then going back to the slot machine, just going again. It's boring.
However, the last few minutes, though, when the slot machine starts stalking him, it's not good. I'm not going to call it good, but I'm not going to say
it's not good.
I was definitely laughing, though. I was definitely finding some entertainment. It's talking to
watching a B movie.
Yeah, because what's his name? His name's Franklin Gibbs. So it was like Frank, and it's like Franklin, and it's like coming towards him, and it's not really coming towards him because his wife can't see it. It's all in his head, but we have this visual of the slot machine.
But the effects that they use of like the slot machine on like a, I don't know, like a rollerboard or something, like just being pushed towards it, and it's kind of like wobbling. It's not good.
Do you know what it feels like? It feels like a really prototype Dalek from Doctor Who. I mean, I know you don't like Doctor Who. I'm not even a big fan of Doctor Who.
Yeah. But, well, I think I've seen some of that though.
But it's just in the way that it's just this thing it's been rolled towards people. It's meant to be the villain.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I think the creator of Doctor Who, the creator of the Daleks, I think they watched this episode of Twilight Zone and like, you know what? There's potential in this.
Is the voice similar?
Well, yeah, because they go, exterminate. It's not a million miles away. Like, there's definitely some correlation to be had.
Franklin.
No, I mean, I can see some parallels. And then the end of the episode's really dark as well, because it actually makes him dive out the window and he dies. Like, the character dives to his death. And...
yeah, we've seen that before a few times in this episode, or this show.
I did not expect it from this one, though.
I didn't either. No, I thought maybe like he would be driven crazy. Just the thought. I thought it was going to go somewhere else, like the slot machine, because it takes his last dollar, but it doesn't work. Like it won't let him do it one last time for his last dollar. So I thought, the next person's going to go and it's going to be the jackpot. And that didn't happen.
Yeah, they put it out of order. And I was kind of reading that as maybe like it's being especially cruel because you'll never know if that last one was going to be the one, right? You'll never know if that one was the
and
winner.
That was going to torment him. Like, and that could be kind of cool to just watch him go insane that way. But the whole like daydreaming about the machine actually stalking him.
Joe's funny.
The voice thing was just so dumb.
This episode was both realistic and also like really unrealistic to me. And it says I used to work.
It wasn't very Twilight Zone though.
It wasn't very
supernatural.
No. But I used to work in a bingo hall, and there was slot machines there. There was a few slot machines, and there were people who would go to them and they would just keep playing them for days until they won. And the jackpot wasn't even that high. It was like a 250 jackpot. but they would literally spend like maybe 400 over the course of like, you know, half a week building up to its jackpot, and it's like you've lost money on this. Like, you didn't even make your money back. Because at least with him, I'm like, well, if you actually win the 10 grand, I'm fairly confident you haven't actually put 10 grand into it, so you'll be up at least.
Yeah, and I think the episode, the point of the ending was to say that he went crazy because, not because of the slot machine, but because he didn't sleep for 24 hours, and that's what made him go crazy.
Well, I don't know if that's the message. I mean, I think that's the physically what happened, but I don't know if that's the message per se. I'm actually a little conflicted as to what the message of this is, because like I say, when I saw people do this, they weren't sweaty and like obsessed. They would just keep coming back, and they would just, you know, they just swear and moan at themselves as they keep wasting money on a machine. Like, I mean, you could just walk away at a time. Just walk away at a time. Yeah.
So, well, I mean, because he hears his name being called by the slot machine after he wins that first, like, $4 or whatever it is.
I mean, it's cool.
And I think that's letting you know that there is something that is supernatural about this situation, but it's...
That's the thing. I don't think there is something supernatural. I think it's all in his head, and all it's doing is representing the temptation of like winning again. That's all it is. It's the temptation of winning again. And for him, this is like manifesting as, you know, Franklin. You know, I think that's what's manifested as. And honestly, by the end, I don't think there's any like actual Twilight Zone kind of twist to this. Everything that happens is kind of in his head. I did laugh though at the end though, after the doctor and the police. Which, by the way,
where are we going?
Right. See at the end here, like they basically say, okay, everyone go back to bed, like the stretcher will be here soon to pick him up. Like everyone leaves, including the police officer and the doctor. Like no one stays with the body to guard it.
Nobody stays. They're just like, okay, show's over, nothing to see here, except everybody goes. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, and
it's like watching a amateur play or something.
And it's all just so they can have this like dramatic shot where the camera, like, you know, goes up and we see the slot machine watching over his dead body. His gambling obsession killed him. And honestly, I think
I'm kind of embarrassed for this episode.
We knew there was going to be bad episodes. I think what gets me about this one though is that I think they went too hard with him being so anti-gambling at the start, because it was so in your face that it makes the rest of it even worse, because it's like, well, at least if it was someone who was just mildly tempted and became obsessed, then okay, sure. But the idea that
such a hard turn. The
idea that only one drunk person forcing him to play one coin that wasn't even his makes him addicted. As much as gambling is addictive, it's a stretch, you know?
Yeah.
It's a stretch.
Yeah, this is the Reefer Madness episode.
It kind of is. I don't think shows in the 60s were going to talk about drugs as much, but you know, that's more of an 80s onwards thing. But
sure,
this was definitely the equivalent for 1960, I think. And I mean, I'm convinced there's not going to be worse, because at least this still had some stuff I was laughing at. I feel like there's definitely going to be bad episodes down the line where it's going to be tedious, and we're going to sit here and we're going to be like, oh, this is so miserable. Oh, I must rip off my hair or whatever, my clothes. I don't know. I'm not going to do that, I promise. Everyone at home, I'm not going to do that. I meant to say pulling my hair out, but I said rip off as if I was going to say clothes, and I had to kind of like backpedal and explain why I said that. I meant rip out hair. And yes, cue your jokes about the hair not needing that ripped out. All right.
I'm staying out.
Good. If you want this recording relationship to go smoothly, Tara, you will keep your nose out of that.
You have very full-bodied head of back hair. It looks fine.
I'm so emasculated right now. You make a point. I'm just scribbling over here. Commiserating my hair.
It looks good. You've got the Liz Gal look.
Well, oh my god, I'm gorgeous. That was the Third Rock from the Sun reference for anyone. But no, I was not expecting you to further caress my ego. I was more actually expecting you to go to a new point. But I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take the pity. It's fine. Anyway, so
I'm not ready for this show to be over yet.
we've got several seasons today. Do you know, there's been a few comments here or there saying we should do the other like the 80s show and the 2000s show, and I'm like, absolutely. And when we finish this one,
it's gonna be a while.
Yeah, when we finish this one, we'll go into the 80s one. I think some people are suggesting that we do them in like parallel, and I'm like, no. We'll get to them. We'll get to them.
Yeah. Going parallel with the new release of the Twilight Zone really didn't help it at all. So
No, it didn't. No, that just made the new one worse. So we'll do that. And besides, Tara's actually catching up on something else that she's going to be doing on a weekly basis. So I feel like let's not add a second Twilight Zone on top of everything to the mix. Let's just say if you've been, wondering where Babylon 5 episodes are, soon they'll be on a weekly schedule, and soon it won't just be me. Or Tower's just going to replace me.
I've been told that I should watch it, so
yeah,
I'm catching up.
Yeah, catching up to where I am for reviews, not like in general. I'm catching up. I'm just going to watch the whole thing, and then we'll start talking about it. But I was going to make a point. Oh yeah,
I have plenty to say as a Star Trek expert, and I'll say a Star Trek Deep Space Nine expert.
Specifically,
I think
yes.
I have a lot to say about Babylon.
Yes, I've had the odd comment sent my way about the first 6 episodes, so I'll just say that. So don't worry. The first episode we do of that together, I'll ask for a kind of a, what did you think of the first X number of episodes, just in a brief fashion.
The first season.
Yes, first season. Yes. That said, though, I've got such a busy TV schedule for the next month. The chances of me getting any more Babylon 5 done before late July is pretty slim. So
yeah,
you might actually make it up to my point before I hit season 2.
Oh, okay.
There's a very good chance of that, honestly. Although the fun thing about starting with season 2 would be that because the lead character actually changes in start season 2.
Oh yeah.
So I could just leave the show and you could just review Babylon 5 on your own. It'd be like a joke because the main character swapped. I think Tower's ready for solo review content. What about everyone else in the comments?
Oh yeah, I can handle it.
Yeah. How about I just go off camera for a second and see if Tower can handle starting the outro and stuff on her own?
I think we definitely should at least outro this episode. I think we're done talking about it.
Yeah, we've been done for like 5 minutes. So there's nothing else I really want to say about it. It's kind of stupid. I will say at one point in the casino scenes, where all the slot machines are, at one point I could swear that Rod Serling had a cameo where he walked past. However,
oh really?
However, I actually think I'm mistaken. I think it's just because every man in the scene in the background all wore the exact same suit and all had the same short dark hair, and what can I say?
Men from the 60s were just very uniform.
They were, yeah. So I don't think he actually was. We should talk about the tease for next week, though, which we always do at the end. So I mentioned a plane, and I think even World War II specifically. I
think World War One.
Was it World War One?
Doesn't he say 1917?
Maybe he did. I obviously I didn't catch the year that he said, but you may be right, yeah. But it's called The Last Flight, and I'm liking the sound of this one actually. It's World War One. A World War One British fighter pilot lands at an American Air Force base in France 42 years into the future.
Ooh, that sounds awfully similar to a movie we watched recently.
Yeah, it's a reverse Final Countdown. Yeah. Oh, it was actually. I was thinking this. I'm surprised we never brought this up during that Final Countdown review. But there's actually an episode of Star Trek in season 1 of the original series, which is very similar actually, where they end up in present day, and there's present day fighter, like an Air Force people, sort of questioning Kirk and that around the base, and I was like, how did we not bring that up? How did Tara not bring that up when we talked about Final Countdown?
You're right. Shame on me.
I know, shame. Absolute shame.
After I called myself a Star Trek expert.
That was literally 2 minutes ago as well.
I'm so ashamed.
So hopefully next week's is a step up from the fever. I've got a fever. Tara,
Yes.
outro the show, please.
No.
Come on, outro
Come
the
on,
show.
I'm not in the mood.
Okay, I'm just gonna let that go. I'm just gonna let that go. I'm gonna crack any jokes. Okay, that has been our discussion of the Twilight Zone, episode 17 of season 1. We'll be back next week with the next one. Let us know what you thought of the show in the comments below. You can like and subscribe. You can also check out the new podcast feed for the show. Now, it is behind. It's not caught up with us yet. I'll be putting two or three up per week until it's caught up with the videos on YouTube. But there is an audio feed, which is titled Fuzz in the Zone. So if you search Male Fuzz TV, every feed we have should pop up in your podcast apps. But if you want to be specific, it's Fuzz in the Zone for this one. So you can check out our audio feed and reviews on that, and more people might find us because of that. But if you want to support us financially, Tara, at least do this part.
Oh, sure. You can go to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/MaleFuzzTV. You can donate as low as $1 per month. With that $1, you get Twilight Zone reviews early. And you get some other content early and additional shows, bonus content like the ones we do for the Ace, our science fiction podcast we mentioned earlier. Yeah, check it out.
I was good up until towards the end. You lost a little bit of steam towards the end. A little bit flustered.
Yeah. Can I be jet lagged if I traveled by car?
I mean, the sleeping schedule's a little bit different, so in essence, kind of. A little bit.
I'll blame it on that.
Yeah, blame it on that, that's fine. But yeah, so go to Patreon. If I'm going to promote other content, obviously Tara mentioned the Atomic Cinema Experiment, the Ace, or sci-fi movie podcast, and I mentioned Screams After Midnight earlier. I will throw in here the Star Trek review. Since we mentioned Star Trek already, me and Connor are working our way through Star Trek. We did all the original series. We actually just finished the Next Generation season 1, so we're taking a little bit of time off. We're taking about a month off before we start season 2, although we will have our top 5 episodes of season 1 at some point in that gap, so you can check out those. But yeah, so if you want like proof that we commit ourselves to actually working through all these big shows and actually sticking with it and not letting them fall behind, and I realize it's been a while since the last episode of Babylon 5. I'm aware. I'm working on it, and soon it's going to be. And I promise, when it's me and Tara doing it as a pair, it will be weekly. It will be a weekly show that we do. I'll get back on track. Tara's coming to save it, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
But that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. And keep watching TV, guys, in the Twilight Zone.